About the Haydn Cello Concerto?
Well, I think it's one of those pieces that all cellists know. They grow up hearing it a lot, and usually most cellists have many attempts at it throughout their life. For instance, I'm the same way. I looked at it in middle school, high school, college, and now I'm done with college. And it's a real developmental type of piece. It goes in stages, and so, you know, I think a lot of cellists have a very strong attachment to it and how it grows, and obviously it's part of the standard repertoire, so it's an important piece to bond with, I think.
What makes it so technically difficult?
The fact that it needs to sound effortless. It's still Haydn. It can only sound so romantic or not romantic at all. And one kind of revolutionary aspect of the piece is how high the register goes most of the time. There's a lot of thumb position material, and it reaches all the way up into the stratosphere at some points. And just to be, to facilitate, to really get around up high across all the strings, especially at the time it was written, was really a kind of new concept on the cello. It was a new way to utilize the cello. And to this day, most cellists find it to be very difficult, and that's why it's part of the standard repertoire. And luckily, it's an audience favorite. So, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your time in Ann Arbor. What do you remember most? Who did you study with? Things like that.
I went to University of Michigan for my master's. I studied with Richard Arie, who is one of two cello teachers at the School of Music. Tony Elliott is the other. And I had already studied with Richard Arie in Cleveland for my undergrad, so musically, the teacher is always the most important when choosing a school. But so obviously, some things weren't completely new for me, but I had a lot to get out of Mr. Arie, and I felt doing my master's here was a great fit in terms of the chamber music program, the orchestra program. The school itself is coming from Cleveland. It was a nice change of pace, and things like food, football. I'm a college football fan, so it was a privilege to get to go to the school. I suppose the timing was not the best. I arrived in 2007, which was the Appalachian State year, and yeah, that's enough said. I showed up after that game occurred, and there was a weird vibe going on. Anyways, and last year was a transition year, so anyways, enough about football. But that was one reason I came, and really the music school has a very well-rounded program in terms of how strong each department is, and the orchestral program is strong, and it's just a warm environment. Some schools in other parts of the country can have a very competitive feel, and this school is absolutely not like that. People work hard, and it's also a nice setting. The whole town I love, so yeah. So I had a great experience here, and it's always great to come back.
Tell us about your Nürnberg experience.
Well, that I guess you could say is the culmination of my work towards competitions, and I've been doing competitions since about 2005, 2006, and I've had a lot of luck with them, and they've really changed the way I look at cello because of how I prepare for them, and the prize results have just been a bonus, because my playing, just having to be that focused and have that much preparation for months at a time, really changes the way that you approach cello technique, music in general. And Nürnberg was in 2008, and I believe 85 cellists were in the first round, and it just got narrower and more and more narrow. I was lucky enough to share first prize with Anita Leutzinger, who was a Swiss-born cellist. And Yeah, that was also, for me, that was my biggest competition win, but also repertoire-wise, it was the biggest. It required 2 recital programs and 2 concerti for a competition that lasts a week and a half. So that was a whole new experience altogether, preparing for that.
So how does it feel to play with the Arbor Symphony Orchestra?
It's a pleasure. The Haydn is kind of a lighter type of orchestration. It's still a big orchestral work, but in general, it's in a classical style, an elegant style. It's still a very vocal piece, but I think it suits the orchestra very well, and with using only strings, basically, I mean, that's how it's mostly a string orchestra and then just a few winds. It's a good kind of support, a good bed of sound for me to play over, and they're very sensitive, so I can really, you know, delve into the whole spectrum of colors, and I'll be heard, and they can respond very quickly. So far, it's a pleasure.